Hey everyone, Vincenzo Calla here. Welcome to the very first episode of Let's Discuss Politics. Today I'm glad to be joined the Conservative candidate for Thornhill, Melissa Lantsman. Melissa is a public affairs executive who was born and raised in Thornhill. She has been heavily involved in every CPC campaign since 2008 and was involved with the Ontario PC Party in the 2018 Ontario election. She has the experience of working in high-profile positions in both the federal government and the private sector. She is also a political commentator on TV, the radio, and the newspaper. So thanks, Melissa, for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be part of your first go at this, and I'm excited to see what's next for you.
For sure. I hope that everyone will enjoy this show. It's a brand new show. We're going to bring lots of great political guests to this show. So I hope everyone enjoys this first episode. And we're going to go into our first segment, which is called Melissa's Story, where we will talk about Melissa's political history. So the first question is, when did you first get involved in politics?
Well, I got involved. I walked into a campaign office sometime in high school. I think I was 14, maybe 15. And I was interested in helping out, and so I went in there. None of my friends were into this, and I made some new friends and figured out how a local campaign works. And the sky's been the limit since. But I had a really good experience just walking into that office and saying, "How can I help?"
Well, I feel you on the friends not wanting to sort of be involved in politics. That's the same with me. Some of my friends are like, I've talked with like my local candidate in Nepean, and I've talked about this with lots of people, how my friends, they're supportive of me, they watch my videos and all that, but they're not the most interested in politics. Some of them are more open to it than others. Some of them are like, oh, that's good for you sort of thing. So I feel you on that one. And, getting involved in politics, especially from a young age, is important, as I've seen with so many other people that want to get involved in politics. They feel that being involved young is important.
Oh, for sure. I think, look, young or old, anytime you want to be a part of change in this country, change in your community, I think politics is a way to get there. And I think that you know that too. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here sitting talking together about what we want to see.
Well, definitely. And I think that's a good jumping point to go on to the second question on why are you running for the position you want to hold, which is the MP of Thornhill? Why do you want to run for that
So, I
position?
mean, I've talked to you about this at length, and I've certainly talked to those in Thornhill. But I think the focus of politics today is just it's wrong direction, and I think that I can help moving it in the right direction. And I think that we need to start talking about vision. And if you're looking at the Canada that we are today, I think we grow enough food to feed the world. I think we have enough resources to power us for a generation. I think we've got critical infrastructure needs that just aren't being met. We have smart, educated people ready to work here, and there's just so much and untapped potential, and nobody's talking about it. We often talk about what's going on in the next 40 minutes or 4 months, but we never talk about what we want Canada to look like in 40 years. That's what I want to bring to the table. And then there is being part of your community. Coming from being born and raised as a first generation Canadian, from immigrant parents in Thornhill, who had small local businesses, for them to see their kid potentially being a parliamentarian in a few short months. That's the story of Canadians, and that's the story that I want everybody to see.
Well, that's definitely a story that so many people that come to Canada want to happen. They want their kids to have a good life. They want to have a good life in Canada. And that's really is the Canadian dream, coming to Canada, starting a business, raising a family,
For
and
sure.
then especially going on to possibly run for office like you and possibly form government with your party and become a minister or something like that. Just getting involved with politics and taking that extra step to actually run.
Yeah, I think it's politics, and I think really it's anything, but it's knowing that there is so much untapped potential in this country with whatever you want to do. We've got to build a place where you can do that.
For sure. Our next segment is called Serving as an Elected Official, where we will talk about Melissa's goals to become an elected official. So, first, we're just going to go start in your community. What is your favorite part about your community that you want to represent?
Well, I think first and foremost, the thing that I've learned about every successful elected official that I've ever worked with, and I worked with a ton in Ottawa, in Ontario, at the local municipal level, is that the people that are most successful are in tune with exactly what's happening on the ground and listening to voters in Thornhill talk about their issues. It's about serving the community. It's about always being available. It's about always, always answering that text and always being helpful. So that's first and foremost. And we've had 12 years of a guy who's done that really, really well in Peter Kent. So my goal is to continue that legacy, improve where we can improve, and don't fix what isn't broken, because there's not a whole lot of things that are broken in the service of our last federal MP in Thornhill. So I'm really excited about pushing the issues particular to Thornhill, whether it's a subway that we have that's being extended up into our community, or it's as simple as being able to explain the complicated Canada.com government site, which wasn't built for normal people, to anyone who ever needed anything, or it's as simple as getting somebody a passport.
Well, that's it. I mean, people think that MPs, it's like winning elections and, oh, they're coming to my door again and they're bothering me. And I've heard the experiences where people are like, oh, politicians coming to me at election season, never hearing from them again, which unfortunately is a problem. And especially in lots of different areas where there's just some MPs that are elected because the leader is great, and or people
Sure.
want the leader. So unfortunately, but people don't realize, well, some people don't realize that the MP is there to serve the community, that they're the ones that you hired at election time. So I like to use that analogy sometimes, hiring the MP, and that's your role.
Absolutely, and it's always it's a constant job interview. So the one thing that I've committed to, if I'm successful, is just to make sure that you're not going to people once every 2 or 4 years whenever we have an election. I know there's fixed dates, but we're not in that situation. It is going out into the community at least once a week when you're able, and in Thornhill.
For sure. And that really is the case with so many different communities. Every community has their own needs. Like in Thornhill, Thornhill has its own needs, and the community of Thornhill obviously has different needs than Calgary, Midnapore, or
Sure.
Fredericton, or whatever. So that's the important part of being an MP. So our second question is sort of an idea of looking to the future. If you get elected, what do you hope to achieve as an elected official if the people of Thornhill decide that you will be their next MP?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's some of the issues that I raised in Thornhill. I think the things that we've been hearing most, and just to give you an update about where we are, we've knocked on about 20,000 doors, so like a pretty good sample size of what people are frustrated about, and those are things like the lack of critical infrastructure, the housing, the unaffordable housing prices, where communities are being torn apart because kids can't afford to live where they grew up. Those are the locals, but on a bigger scale, we've got to start with the vision in Canada. And I hope to see Aaron O'Toole as prime minister, and I hope that we can change this government, because we actually can't trust them with the economic recovery ahead.
Well, for sure, we see those concerns. And like I've talked with lots of MPs on my other show, talking about really the concerns about the current government right now. I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but just the idea of people are tired of seeing the same old thing every time, the announcement of an announcement at an announcement sort of thing. I think it was in Hamilton or something when the prime minister sort of announced that he was going to announce something. It's people are tired of it, and that's with all governments, really. People are tired of, sometimes at the end of the government, they're like, I'm tired of this, it's time for change. And I think that's something that, serving as an elected official, you want to be the change. You want to be the person that can bring your community's needs and be that strong person in your community.
Absolutely. I've got, look, I've got a lot to offer. I've got a lot of energy. We've got a very, very engaged team that is, that is engaged in the election part of this, that we hope that, continues to be engaged in the governing part of this. And it's about having, having a voice for Thornhill and having a voice if in the case that, in the case that it's an opposition voice, holding this government to account. So it doesn't just run roughshod over people's rights and over the focus on our future.
Well, that's exactly it. And I've been watching your campaign. I've had a lot of fun seeing your Instagram stories and all that, seeing your campaign team go knocking on doors and your Saturday, Sunday canvases. And it's just amazing to see that team working in action to sort of create a better community for everybody, just to have that chance to have a voice like you, or have a voice like all the other great candidates that are running in across the country, to sort of share that voice and share that experience.
For sure. Our goal is, look, I think there's a lot of people on my campaign where this is their first campaign, and we want to make sure that it's not their last campaign.
For sure. So we're going to go into the last segment, which is called Politics Are All Around Us, where we will talk about the world of politics around us. So the first question is, who is or who was another politician that inspires you?
You know what? I've been lucky to work with so many politicians that inspired me to, to take this next step, because I saw the value of their hard work and the value of the voice that they had for their community. So it's, it's people like, John Baird and Ronna Ambrose and my friend Pierre in Ottawa, and Michelle Rempel, and frankly voices that are good for the future of the conservative of movement. And we are so lucky to have such experienced politicians from just back in the days of the Harper government, and there's so many new ones coming up through the ranks to watch out for. So I'm really excited about the potential of our new recruits, and seeing what those with a bit more experience than I have are going to offer this country going forward.
For sure. And especially during this election, we're seeing a lot of people from the Harper years retiring, such as Peter Kent, who's the MP in Thornhill currently, and a lot of different people, Bruce Stanton retiring. So we're seeing that new wave, especially in this election, I guess in 2019 a bit, but especially in this coming election, whether that's in a couple weeks, probably in a couple weeks, we're seeing that new wave of people trying to get involved.
Yeah, you know what? And if
Peter's
the example that I follow, both as both as a former minister, a strong voice even in opposition, and a great local MP. And I'm really lucky to be learning on the job from him, as he's been there every step of the way, and I know that he'll be there right till election night.
For sure. So our last question of this segment and last question of the interview is, what do you think is an issue that must be focused on more?
You know what? I'm hearing really two things, and this is my own sort of polling sample. Politicians or aspiring politicians are not pollsters, so I'm just going to tell you what I'm hearing most of at the door. And one is, well, three things. One, I can't find a job, and if I can find a job, it's not related to my skill set, and that's a really big problem in this country. Two, I can't afford to live here. My salary's not going up as fast as housing, and if I'm a young Canadian that's trying to get into the market, there's just no way that I can put a down payment. And the third one that we've heard most of is my mental health has suffered over the course of the pandemic, and I don't feel like I know enough about how to get help, how to access help, and when I try, I can't. And those are really the three themes overall that you're hearing from a very, very frustrated electorate that has been locked up in a pandemic for the last 16, 17 months. I don't even know where we are anymore, but that's really what I think the next election focuses on.
We thank you, Melissa, for your time today. I thank you. If you like today's interview, make sure to check out our other interview with Melissa on Instagram for Top 5 in 5, a more casual, laid back interview that we'll talk more soon. So make sure to go check that out on Instagram. If you're watching the premiere, today's Wednesday, it'll come out in 2 days on Friday. So to stay updated, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at VCalla 2021. Check my website out at vincenzocalla.com and make sure to like, subscribe, and choose to get notifications here on YouTube. So until the next video, I'm Vincenzo Calla, signing out.